What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We got a live CHGO Bulls pregame for y'all right around the corner. Late night hoops. Bulls out in Cali taking on the LA Clippers tonight. Bulls currently on a 5-game skid. Can they end it against the Clips, who will be without the services of Kawhi Leonard and Ivica Zubac? But the Bulls missing some players of their own. Let's look at some trends on this losing streak and also take a look at what the Clips have been up to this season. That's coming up next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls pregame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bam! BAWL Sports. Will the GOAT, perfectly coiffed. Gottlieb. Will_Gottlieb. The one and only queen of the controls, Katie Debbie. What up, Katie?
Hi.
Woo! Late night hoops. Who's ready?
Not Katie. What was that? Hi. What was that?
I have a migraine, and also I have like 5 things going on right now to get done.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. All right, we'll handle it from here. We got it.
First and foremost, happy Ben Johnson Day
Happy
to all
Ben
those
Johnson
who celebrate.
Day.
A much better thing about today. My goodness, Ben Johnson.
I feel like that's a Will the GOAT Gottlieb coach. It
GOAT
strikes me as a GOAT coach.
on board.
I was saying this to Jake before you got in, Dave. I feel like just with the, I don't want to spend too much on this, but here's my little
Don't spend
spiel.
all the time on it.
Here's my spiel. Because then we got Modest Buzelis to talk about.
Sure.
Nope.
I feel like with the stakes being as high as they are with this team, you have like generational quarterback. You need to get this right. Like you cannot screw this up.
No.
I felt like I wanted a higher floor coach just because like Ben Johnson could be the best coach of all time. We don't know. But we don't know, right? Like he hasn't done it yet. So he hasn't proven that. But he was also obviously like the number one candidate out there for every team.
Yes.
And I feel like you go get the best guy.
Yes.
And they got the best guy. So obviously I think it's like a high risk, high reward. But I feel like it's a similar situation to drafting Caleb. It's like the best generational quarterback is there with the first pick. You have the first pick.
You take him.
Take the move.
Yeah.
So I'm in on it.
Yeah.
I'm all in on it.
Yeah. He seems like your kind of guy, man.
I would say like generally speaking, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
A coach's coach.
With this team, I felt like I was thinking that like somebody more like traditional leader of men type would be good, even though
A Vrabel or
exactly. But even though I think generally speaking, like I'm much more about the like tactician, genius, like offensive, play caller type.
That's your style,
And the one that everyone wanted.
Everybody in the entire league
The butt
wanted
of the
it.
ball.
Yeah. Like I said, he wasn't my first choice, but I've never seen the Bears get the guy who everybody wanted.
It was, again, simple.
So
Don't
I'm
screw
with
it up.
Yeah.
Don't
that's
overthink it.
Yeah.
Get the guy that everybody wants.
Make the layup.
I mean,
It's a layup.
The
Do the layup.
simplest terms that I saw, shout out to our guy, Ricky O'Donnell, who today earlier tweeted that Ben Johnson led the Lions offense to 70 touchdowns this season.
Yes.
The Bears, as a franchise, the most they've ever scored offensive touchdowns
Take this in, Will.
is 56, and that was in 1941.
Mm-hmm. Drink that one.
Lord.
So yeah, I'll take that offensive coordinator to be our
1941.
1941.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like way older than like my parents. I mean,
Yeah.
That is nearly a century ago.
Yeah. Yes, my mother was not alive. Yes. When that happened.
Nor mine.
That's
Crazy.
My parents
That's
were also
nuts.
not even born
My dad
yet.
was like a child.
Let's get that guy to be the Caleb Whisperer.
Yeah,
Please
get
and
that
thank
guy.
you.
Get that guy.
Joel saying, I think Ben Johnson had the highest ceiling out of any of the coaches they interviewed. Go big or go home. Yeah. Shout out to everybody, by the way, who tuned in to our CHGO Bears Emergency Pod. They did their normal show time today. And
They
then
did a great job.
Right on the heels of that, boom, the news drops. Shout out to our production crew and everybody on our Bears crew who came back. And I think there were like 9,000 people watching their emergency pod because Bears fans are hyped, as was I.
That was awesome.
But as Goat mentioned, the Bulls also have exciting news of their own that just broke via Shams Charania about like 5 minutes ago. This right here, Bulls rookie Modest Buzelis is committed to be in the slam dunk contest at NBA All-Star Weekend. Sources tell ESPN. Dunk contest will feature the two high-flying first-year players in Buzelis and the Spurs' Stephon Castle. Joel also in the comments saying congrats to Modest for entering the dunk contest. Shout out to everybody else hanging out. Rob, Kim, Kimberly, Jeff, Force Within, Truish. Thanks for being here late night. Wonderful, exciting news. So there will be some representation of Bulls basketball at All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
Still waiting to see if Zach and or Vooch maybe make it as a coach's All-Star reserve selection. We will know that in another couple of weeks, or actually less than like a week and a half. I think they January 30th is when they announced that.
Yes, correct.
So, but in the meantime, this is awesome. And you know what? I'm just going to say this once. I am going to take slight partial credit for this.
Oh, Lord.
Because basically, at least every other time Modest dunked this season thus far, from our CHGO Bulls team account, I have tweeted, put Modest in the dunk contest, comma, you cowards. So I am going to take a little bit of credit for that.
Okay, enjoy that. This will be his second time in All-Star Weekend. He was there last year for the G League team. I was going against the world. So this will be his second time there. I think that's great for a young guy to spend time at All-Star Weekend. That's where, you get all the connections, you meet all the people. You don't know who's watching you until they're watching you. And now all eyes are going to be on Modest Buzelis on that weekend, who probably didn't see him the last time he was there, but they'll see him this time because still, in fact, the dunk contest is when everybody kind of shows up. It's the entertainment factor of it. So the spotlight's going to be on him. He loves that when the spotlight is on him. He wants to show out, I'm sure. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, and he'll probably do the rookie challenge or whatever they call it.
The Rising Stars game?
Stars game.
Yeah.
Okay. I would imagine he'll be in that.
That'd be cool.
I mean,
did you tweet that out too?
That's what he was in last year.
No.
Put Modest in the
Rising Stars game.
My focus was three-point contest and dunk contest.
Okay.
Even though he's not been shooting the ball. Anytime he's made a three, I'm like, put him in the three-point contest.
1 for 2, though. That's
Maybe
50%. That's good,
Maybe
man.
he'll do the skills challenge or something. But I agree. It's this is what I like about Modest is his confidence and fearlessness. And this is the kind of thing where it's rookie season, he's not playing a ton of minutes, but he still wants to go out and show off what he does.
Yeah.
And I will say, watching him in pregame warmups and at practice, he throws down some insane dunks.
I was just about to say that.
He is going to be very, very good at this.
That's definitely one of the things
he's going to be
like to
very,
tell us.
very good at this.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for him. He just loves these kind of opportunities, and he's not scared of these moments, and he looks forward to them. So it would just be great to see somebody representing the Chicago Bulls at All-Star Weekend. Guaranteed is going to be out there, and eyes will be on him singularly. So I like that aspect of it, which is why I wanted Kobe in the three-point contest. The same thing. But, yeah, we got one in there, and we'll see if we'll get another.
I love it. And Kimberly and Jeff, you are welcome. Thank you for acknowledging my hard work that made this happen. Chocolate Salty Bowl saying All-Star Weekend is ass. Testament to how bad our season has been that we care about it. I mean, good season or bad season, I'm just glad that our rookie, who Bulls fans want to see more of, is going to get an opportunity to shine a little bit All-Star Weekend when the entire NBA world is watching.
I'm watching.
People complain about dunk contest is bad, All-Star game itself is bad, but there will still be eyes watching.
Yeah,
and look, I love that for Modest.
Look, it's a different world when your guy's in. You could think it's ass all you want, but now you'll be glued to that watching it because it's your guy. And when it's your guy who is going to be in there, it means more. And so right now I'm already ooh, cool dunk contest. I want to see it. Knowing that I don't like the dunk contest because it has been super boring the past few years. But now my guy gets to go in there and see how boring he can be. So now I'm committed to it. And, yeah, that's just kind of how it works when you root for the team and not the player.
People are talking about maybe having Lonzo, his teammate, Modest use Lonzo as an assist guy.
That could be a thing.
For the dunk contest.
Where is All-Star Weekend?
San Francisco.
San Fran?
Thank you.
The Bay.
Yeah.
Rob also saying, nice, Modest. Kid just wants to get on the floor. Give him minutes, Billy. Yes, please.
Yes,
we talked about that a little bit in last night's post-game show.
You should get some more tonight.
Should. Speaking of which, there are some injury updates we got to get to before we talk about this Bulls-Clippers matchup, who's in and who's out. For the Bulls, Kobe White, who did re-aggravate that ankle that has bothered him at times this season in last night's game, has been ruled out of this one with what the Bulls are calling ankle soreness. Ayo Dosunmu, managing that calf injury, will sit the second night of this back-to-back. Javon Carter, Torrey Craig, and Chris Duarte all remain out as well. However, Zach, Lonzo, and Jalen, who were all also on the injury report, have been given the green light. And as somebody in the comments was already talking about, I think, how many minutes will Lonzo drop 20 tonight? Lonzo Ball tonight not only is active, but gets his second start of the season. So your starting five for the Bulls: Giddey, Lonzo, Zach, Pat, and Vooch. What do we think, gentlemen?
Yeah, sounds about right. I'm excited to see Lonzo back in there. I like watching Lonzo and Giddey play together. I think they play well off each other. I'm interested to see the fire that Lonzo kind of comes out with because he's back home. He's in LA. He enjoys playing, against his hometown, and he knows people are going to be out there watching him, man. So I'm excited for Lonzo to get out there and do his thing in LA. I'm curious to see what Zach usually likes doing his thing also out here when he's in LA. So I'm curious to see that. I'm always going to be watching Pat just because, that's what I do. I'm a sicko. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch them play against this team, even though the Clippers, I'm sure, are depleted, as I'm sure you'll run down, Matt. But, yeah, I'm still excited to see what happens.
I'm interested to see just like what the point guard depth look like because obviously Kobe and Ayo are out. Lonzo and Giddey are in, but Javon is also out. He's kind of like their break glass in case of emergency type backup.
Right. Modest at the 2.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's just – but if Giddey and Lonzo are starting together, yeah, who kind of comes in –
kaboom
in that rotation.
Dynamite.
But, yeah, it's just guys are starting to accumulate some of those injuries. Javon out, Torrey Craig out. So just the depth, and Billy has gone 10, 12 deep a lot of times. So
I'm looking at Jeremiah here. I got 600 riding on the Bulls winning tonight. Word? Word, son?
Good luck.
All right. I mean, whatever you're going through. You know what I'm saying? If you got to put 600 on the Bulls, I mean, man, I wish the best for you, dog. Let's see what happens.
And I don't think that the Clippers are a particularly good matchup for the Bulls, so we can get into that. But
no. Katie?
I was just going to say that we do accept super chats. If he wins.
But we don't super chat back to you if certain things happen. You could make yourself $600. That's great. We would also accept a $600 super chat, but we would just I don't know. You write that off. Can you write that off?
You write all this off.
But so yes, for the Clippers, they also had a lengthy injury report, but only 2 end up getting scratched. That being Kawhi Leonard, who just recently made his return this season. I think he's only played 5 games thus far. Which, classic Kawhi Leonard's never healthy stuff.
It is.
Dealing with a knee. So he is sitting on the second night of a back-to-back. They also played last night. Got a dub over the Lakers. So Kawhi sits tonight, as does Ivica Zubac, Zubac Shakur, as Dave likes to call him, because he got a corneal abrasion, a.k.a. got his eyes scratched out in their game last night.
Yeah, 21 and 19 and 3 blocks.
Yes.
I watched him in an interview after. He looked fine.
He also got a corneal abrasion, apparently.
He's having an insane season.
Okay.
He is. I'm sifting through Clippers stuff today. They're pushing really hard to get him to All-Star Weekend as well.
Shakur? Really?
Yeah.
15 and 13, 2.5 assists, shooting 61%. Last night, 20 and 19. He had a 20-20 game the other day. Shut up, Barbara Walters. Yeah, he's having a very strong season.
He is the Valanciunas of Valanciunas centers. He is everything about him is Valanciunas to me, and I love it. I'm not I'm not saying that as a diss, but I love it. He is going to get you 10. He's going to get you 10 rebounds. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to get those blocks.
15 and 13 this year.
I'm saying, hey, that's Valanciunas numbers. You know what I mean? And when he gets 21 to 19, that's a Valanciunas run right there, man. So he's that Valanciunas guy. Put him in the Brad Miller special. You know what I mean? He's in that kind of center without the 3-point shot. But he's in that kind of center mode to me, man. I love those kind of centers. Steven Adams, those kind of centers, man. Bruisers, man, who have a touch of finesse. Yes. Just a touch of finesse, man. Nice.
He can play, man. He's
good.
Zubac is legit. For all of the Clippers the last few years being about Kawhi and Harden, Norman Powell is their leading scorer, points per game wise this season. He has started all 34 games for them that he has played, averaging 23.5.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's Powell, Harden, Zubac, and then, Kawhi having only played 5 games are their top 4 scorers. But, they have balance. They're like in their victory last night, it was balanced. I think it was like 23, 22, 21, 19, their top 4 scorers. Whereas last night's postgame, Dave, you were complaining about, it was like, okay, it's Zach and Vooch.
That's it.
And then some nights, that's all it is.
That's it, yeah. No, you that is put very brilliantly by you, sir. That is exactly the word for these Clippers because Kawhi hasn't been there all season, and they still been able to thrive. And even James Harden, who they thought was done, has been outstanding. Yeah, man. And he's been outstanding for them. So
he's not Rockets Harden anymore.
No,
but even still,
he can find an open man though, and still hit open 3-point shots, and still is a really good ball handler. So those things still are there for James Harden, and as long as that is still there, he's still super formidable, man. So yeah, they're a fun team to watch. I don't know if anybody has seen them, like who's in the chat, but with League Pass, I look at them a lot, and they're really a fun team to just sit back and watch. They play as the right way kind of thing. Well, like they balance out, as Matt stated, they balance out the inside game with that 3-point shooting as well. And they play solid defense, and they're extremely well coached.
Really good defense.
And yeah, man, like they're just a really fun team to watch who people weren't talking about coming into the season a lot. But, they just been going about their business and handling their business in the right way.
Yeah, the defense is where I was going to go with it because they're number 2 in the league this year, number 1 over the last couple of weeks. Just incredible defensive unit, and Zubac's obviously a big piece of that. But you also have guys like old friends Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., they've got guys up and down the lineup who really defend, and then that helps insulate James Harden in some of those lineups. And so they run, they defend, and they're just technical, like you said. I mean, they've done this without Kawhi Leonard, who's obviously premier on both ends. So testament to their coaching, to the way that they just came in determined to play, even though I thought this was going to be the year they just lose Paul George in free agency for nothing. I thought they were going to fall out of the playoffs this year. They're 24-17, I believe.
Yeah, they navigated a rough start to the season and Kawhi's long-term absence, and are now, as of tonight, holding the 5th seed in that very competitive Western Conference.
Top 10 in that rating.
And have won 4 straight coming into tonight. Your starting 5 for the Clippers tonight: James Harden, Bulls legend Chris Dunn, Norman Powell, Bulls legend Derrick Jones Jr.,
DJJ,
and Mo Bamba at the 5 with Zubac out.
Oh, I also wanted to talk about Norman Powell because I forgot to mention him.
Sure.
You know how Zach LaVine's having an incredible season?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Norman Powell is having a statistically identical season.
He is.
It is insane what he's doing. I was looking it up earlier for a story that I'm writing. There's 5 players in the league averaging 23 points on better than 60% true shooting. Zach and Norman Powell are 2 of them. The others are Giannis, Kat, and SGA.
Yeah, that's nuts. Powell's shooting 49.3 from the field,
just stupid,
and 44.6 on nearly 8 3-point attempts a game.
That's dumb. That's stupid.
It's literally identical stats to Zach. It's
that is wild. Although
23 points, a little bit higher field goal percentage, but also 45% on threes. I mean, he's just
45.
shooting the lights out. Last night he had 20-something on 75% shooting.
Zach does more work on the boards and playmaking, though. His assist and board numbers are higher than Powell. So take that, Norman Powell. Slap. But yeah,
49, 44, 83.
That's impressive, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a pretty respectable shooting slash line. So this 5-game losing streak the Bulls are on, I want to talk about a little bit because I think, in particular, when you look at what is the same as far as what the Bulls are doing in this losing streak and what's different, it might point to them having a tough go of it tonight because of what the Clippers as a team do well.
Okay.
So, Katie, if you have those numbers and want to throw them up, what the Bulls have done in this 5-game losing streak specifically compared to their total season numbers thus far, a little bit more than halfway through. The 3-point attempts and the 3-point percentages are down. For the season, they are still second in the league in attempts and still in the top 10 in percentage at a very respectable 37.2. And in this 5-game losing streak, they're only taking 35 a game and hitting them at 34%. So yes, the conversion rate is down, but they are 20th in the NBA in 3-point attempts in this 5-game losing streak. So everyone bitching and moaning about stop shooting threes if they're not falling, that's why we're losing. Put a cork in it, thank you. Assist to turnover ratio, about the same. A little bit of a dip, but nothing extreme there. When we've been talking in some of these games about turnovers and points off turnovers, points in the paint, the Bulls dead last on both sides of these columns.
That's bad.
Almost identical. Nothing has changed. The Bulls never defend points in the paint. That remains the same in this losing streak. But when you get to these bottom two rows, opponents' points off turnovers and opponents' second chance points, I think this is what has defined this losing streak. Because on the season, the Bulls were middle of the pack in opponents' points surrendered to opponents off turnovers. And you see the jump that there is now. They are now 27th in this 5-game losing streak at giving up over 20 points per game. And then second chance points is even more egregious. They weren't great on the season as a whole before this losing streak, tied for 24th, but 15. There you see what they're giving up in this losing streak. Nearly 10 more points per game than their season average on opponents' second chance points. And you know what the Clippers do well? Because it is force turnovers and score on those turnovers.
Very much so. Katie, you can leave that up, please. What jumps out to me on this is there is no change in pace for the Chicago Bulls.
Pace
They're
is
still
almost
moving,
identical.
getting up and down. What the reason for me as they were having why they were having success was the three-point shooting. Because if you're running and you're getting down there and guys are spreading out and hitting their shots and getting their attempts up, that bodes well for you, correct? Yes. Let me answer myself. So when you're just running down, what are you doing now when you're getting down there? And you're not a great half-court offense. You know, you obviously, according to those numbers, you aren't taking those three-point shots anymore. So when you're getting down there, what are you doing when you're getting down there? It just feels like a cardio rant right now. So you're getting there, and you're not a team that goes inside a lot either, unless you're Josh Giddey putting his head down, and running inside, or unless you're Vooch, who wants to bully some people some nights in the post. In general, they're not really going inside a ton. And Zach has been going inside more. He's not getting those calls. And so you're going to see him step back and start shooting a little bit more. But it's not something that they do. So I find it incredibly, incredibly interesting that the pace is not slowed down for them. They're continuing to move. They're continuing to go. But when they get there, it's like, I don't know. What do we do now? Because they're not taking the threes. That's what the number is saying. They're not hitting the threes. That's what the number is saying. All the numbers that have been bad are still bad for the Bulls. So that's how you lose is the bottom line I want to say. That's how you lose.
Well, I think also the thing to consider with the three-point shooting, because I think you're absolutely right on that, Dave, is like they were, I think, shooting a little bit over their heads for the first however long.
Sure.
I mean, they were like, when you talk about this team, if you don't look at the numbers, you wouldn't think that they're one of the top 10 three-point percentage teams in the NBA. They were better than that. They were top 7, right?
Coming into tonight, they're 8.
Top 8. So, I think it was fair to expect that to regress a little bit. And when you stop making as many, maybe you stop taking as many. And if some of those three-point opportunities aren't there, what is that? Where are those shots going? If the pace is the same and the amount of field goal attempts is the same, but the three-point attempts are lower, where are those shots feeding into? Is it getting to the rim? Is it now, more isolation, step back jumper type stuff? That's lower efficiency. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. And I think we've talked about it a little bit. Like, we're seeing a little bit more of old Zach in terms of more isolation stuff. And it's not like egregious or terrible, right? Like, he's still playing very well, but like, you sprinkle in 1 or 2 more of those, if that comes at the expense of an open corner 3 in transition, that can start to add up over the course of a game or multiple games. And so I think the Bulls, and we've talked about it this way too, which is they've kind of gone away, I think, from their identity and some of those things that made them play well at the beginning of the season. And so are they able to get back to that? I think that this team is a little bit affected, I would say, by just like the trade deadline and understanding what's going on at this point in the season. You're on a 5-game losing streak. I think things can start to snowball, and that can take you out of your game. And I think that's what we're seeing a little bit here, is just that they're not really playing to their identity.
So if your three-point shots have come back down to earth, what do you think the Bulls should be looking more to do now to get the ball into the basket?
So I think pace is a measurement of possessions in a game, right? And so you could say they still have the same amount of possessions, but how are you counting those possessions? To me, by the eye test, and I can look it up, they haven't been getting into their shots as quickly. And that means that they are now going against a set defense. They're having to create more shots off the dribble. That's not their strength. And I think that's where they can struggle. So continuing to push the ball, I think when Aya was out, you lose 6 or 8 points a game just because he's beating you down the floor. And you've got to make up for that in different ways. So I think continuing to put pressure on the rim, running after makes and misses. That's the kind of stuff that can get them back into games. But we're also seeing now teams adjust to that speed. They're picking up full court. They're playing a little bit more zone. They are just pressuring the ball a little bit higher up. And I think that's the kind of thing that can, again, deter the Bulls from playing to their identity. And I think also just they're probably a little bit tired. I've said this before, like I asked Vooch and Billy about it. They denied that. They rejected that theory that like they are worn down by the pace. But to me, maybe it's like a mental thing with the trade deadline looming. Maybe it's a physical thing with just running. I mean, they played 5 preseason games too. So it's like almost 50 games of NBA basketball now. I think that can really wear you down. And I think that was always going to be a challenging thing to maintain over the course of a season.
Real quick before we wrap up, just a bit of a closer look at what the Clippers have done well this season. Because you mentioned that their offense is trending up recently, Goat. On the season, it's just the 22nd ranked offensive rating in the NBA at 111.3. And middle of the pack and modest in a lot of ways. Dave, you're talking about their ability to score inside and outside. And we were talking about the Bulls' pace of play. Clippers are just 20th in pace, 98.3 possessions per 48, 23rd in three-point attempt rate, not even at 0.4. But the threes they do take, as you were saying, Dave, they hit at a pretty respectable rate, 36.5%. Points in the paint, top 10, 49.9 per game. And as we covered recently, the Bulls, dead last in the NBA as far as giving up points in the paint every single night. And we were also talking about this losing streak and the Bulls giving up points on second chance where you don't box out, you don't get your rebounds, and turnovers. The Clippers forced the 4th most turnovers of any team in the NBA. And as far as the second chance points battle, they also are the 4th best defensive rebounding team in the NBA. And the Bulls have not been making offensive boards a priority this season at the pace that they're playing. So the Bulls are very unlikely to win that battle tonight between the Clippers' strength that they have in boards. And yes, Zubats is out tonight, but I think Mobama's capable of grabbing rebounds. And then we were talking about how the Bulls give up 21 points per game in this losing streak on turnovers. You know how many points per game the Clips score off turnovers all season long? Because it's 20.5. So that doesn't bode well. That is second best in the NBA behind only the surging Oklahoma City Thunder. The Clippers are the second best team in the NBA at making their opponent pay on turnovers. And that has been a big problem for the Bulls in this losing streak.
And that's something that they also don't do, right? Like they are not. And when we talk about small margins for error, like the Bulls are not getting to the free throw line over the past 5 games that they've lost. They aren't shooting the ball efficiently. They aren't running as much as we talked about. And they're not like generating points in easy ways on offensive rebounds, on steals and running in transition quite as much. And so when you just remove all the different avenues for a team that can score, it just everything becomes harder. And now you're playing against a set defense, your offense stagnates, and then you resort back to some of these things that don't work as well for you. Or stuff, like we talked about with Zach or with Vooch, just playing a little bit more ISO heavy because that's natural in the half court offense. So I think just continuing to find every opportunity that they can to run will help grease the wheels when it comes to just offensive flow throughout the course of a game. Because I really do think that like 1 or 2 extra transition baskets can really open things up for you outside of just the points on that possession. That just changes the way the defense is guarded.
Without a doubt.
Shout out to Andrew McKay who said, was it Andrew McKay? About fun bad, or was it somebody else? The comment, I just lost it. Somebody was asking in the comments, are they still fun bad?
Yeah. Andrew said, are they still fun
bad?
Dave,
are they still fun bad?
Yeah. Like, see, y'all go up and down on stuff. See, when they're going along, they're like, see, it's fun, Dave. It's fun. And then when it's terrible, it's like, well, it's bad. Is it really fun? Guys, it's fun, bad. It's the roller coaster. This is what it is, man. This is the bad part. So, yeah, it's going to be that. Bad is in capital letters. Please remember that. But it's fun, bad.
Just think about those ping pong balls, y'all.
Yeah.
Think about those ping pong balls.
Let them dance in your head.
Yes. Screw sugar plums. Let the lottery ping pong balls
You've never seen a sugar plum in your life.
As you go to bed tonight. But not until after Bulls Clippers and after CHGO Bulls live postgame, which we will have. Real quick before you get out of here, I saw you put up a poll, Katie, because people started talking about snacks.
Yeah, we were having a snack conversation.
Very important.
So obviously we needed to know what the best snack is for watching Bulls basketball.
Yeah, and the options were popcorn, chips,
ice cream,
and Tears. I voted Tears.
Tears is currently leading with 43%.
I also like Andrew asking, is tequila a snack? Julie RC.
That's part of tears.
Tequila's a snack if you do salt and lime. Rob saying, dry those tears, stay hydrated, and grab a beer. I mean, yeah, chips and beer to me is always number one as far as snack for sports watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, salty.
It is. I'll probably take the ice cream.
Thirst quenchy. See, okay.
You're not a sweets guy, though.
No, but I do, like, one exception I will make is occasionally ice cream.
Yeah.
But, weird question, maybe.
Okay.
And you might think I'm crazy.
I already do, so come on with it, yeah.
Would you put ice cream in the category of snacks? Because to me, ice cream is not in category snacks. Yeah, ice cream is in category dessert.
Dessert, yeah. In America, it's a snack. It's definitely a snack. It's something people will have at 4 p.m. or 4 a.m.
What is a snack, really? I mean, it's like a square and a rectangle.
Let me drop this piece of what I think is wisdom.
Please do.
On you. All desserts are snacks, but not all snacks are desserts.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. The square and rectangle thing. It's like any dessert, if it's not a meal, it must be a snack. And dessert is...
I eat it with a spoon.
But counter argument, people could claim that a dessert is a portion of a meal. It is a course in a meal.
It's true.
That you usually have at the end, but some people like dessert first and then my entree. But I don't necessarily agree with your, if it's not a meal, it has to be a snack because a dessert is a part of a proper meal.
I would put it in the category of sweet snack. There's savory, salty, sweet snacks, and there's same thing for meals.
I think we're just going to have to get a bunch of ice cream and do some research. That's
I think you're right. And I'm also excited for Katie and Will tonight because not only do they get to hear the Pat Williams voice tonight, they get to hear Chris Dunn tonight as well. Because I don't think Katie's heard the Chris Dunn.
Starting. He is starting.
He's having a great year.
I can't wait to see him get up some threes. Oh, man.
Oh, this is going to be hilarious. Shout out Chris Dunn, man.
Chris Dunn dumped tonight. Yeah, no, truly. All credit to him that he has revived his career like this. You know, the stint in Utah and then now being called into duty for this Clippers team that's right there in the thick of it for the Clips in the West. And that is one that I will wear. Some of my early takes on Bulls basketball when I first got into this, like when they were doing the stupid, like we had Valentine around and Felicio around. And we were trying to figure out what the heck was going on with this team. I was a Chris Dunn guy. I was a heavy believer in Chris Dunn back in the day.
He missed the fourth quarter for a while.
That one didn't pan out so well.
Well, it was after that he busted his face on the floor.
On his face,
He was never the same after that, bro.
Truly.
That was real tough.
All right,
he lasted in the NBA.
Yeah.
Can't say the same for
back in, man.
He's still here, whereas Denzel is not.
He is not.
Felicio is not.
Thank you.
Of the people we got jokes off about. Good for Chris Dunn. We have passed the 9:30 mark on our Chicago clocks, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Tip-off happening in just a couple of minutes. We will be here for a live post-game CHGO Bulls action to break this one down after Bulls Clippers concludes. Midnight Chicago time-ish. For all of you night owls, for all of you insomniacs, and most importantly, for all of you Bulls fan sickos like us.
Like us.
We will be here. Hit the like button. We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Wow. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.